Good morning, Trains Nation. Welcome to another episode of Video Trains Newswire. Today is Friday, December 9th, 2016, all day long.
Until midnight.
Yes.
But right now, you are fortunate because you are here to learn about this week's Newswire on Trains Magazine's fabulous website, edited by none other than Steve Sweeney, standing right next to me here. And we are celebrating a big day.
We are.
For this broadcast because this is the 1-year anniversary of the show. We started it this time last year because we wanted to bring you the highlights of the week, give you something to look at. And, you know, we really did try for a band. We thought, you know,
we did.
Colbert has a band, Fallon has a band, Kimmel has a band on all these shows.
You know,
we thought, well, we should have one too.
Yeah.
So, this is the best we could do.
Yep. It's what we could do. Next year will be twice as good.
Yes, and we'll make it 3 times better.
That's right. For our second anniversary. But no, still, we're glad you could join us for this week.
Welcome.
And for every week, you know, we've built up a loyal following among all of you, and it's because of you that we're still doing this.
Let us know what you like about the show, what you don't like, what you want to see more of, what
That's
you want to see less of.
Yeah.
We'll try to adjust.
And send those comments to newswire@trainsmag.com. It's a special email address for Newswire Online and for this video program, newswire@trainsmag.com.
And don't forget you can send news tips to that one as well.
Yes.
And video clips,
Yep.
photos, whatever
Yep.
you might have, and we will look at them for eventual use on the website or possibly in the magazine.
Yeah, we do that a lot too.
So,
Yeah.
hey, what we got this week?
Well, Jim, we got lots of stories. Right now we've got more than 40 stories up so far, a couple of exclusives, and there's still more to come later this afternoon. There's still stories that I have yet to process because we're doing a couple of things later this week. But it's really interesting. I think the one thing that's going to make some of our viewers smile, there was a derailment last weekend in South Carolina.
I know the one you're talking about.
And it happened to have some auto rack cars coming from a BMW plant. And wouldn't you know, they derailed. Oh.
I'd hate to be the freight claim agent on that one.
Oh, I know.
God
More than
bless 'em.
100 BMWs. We've got a photo that we're putting up on Newswire with that. We've got the story from earlier this week. And it just makes me cringe every time I look at it. But like any good wreck, you hate to look, but you can't look away. So make sure you see that on Trains Newswire. Also interesting, on a more serious note, on the West Coast, there was a terror threat earlier this week on LA Metro, the subway in Los Angeles.
Subway system, yeah.
Which was crazy.
Fortunately, nothing took place, which was
Correct.
great.
Correct. Just some inconvenienced commuters. Our associate editor David Lassen said he had a friend who was on the subway, or is in the subway station that had the threat called against it, and she looked at her phone and said, "Oh no!"
Oh no.
And I guess she ended up taking the bus home.
That would be bad.
Yeah. Interesting too. Back to the East Coast of the United States, New Jersey Transit had an interesting stop earlier this week. Did you hear about that one, Jim?
Somebody lost their cell phone off
Someone-
the platform?
Well, it was kind of unclear. It sounded like it was between two
moving
cars in the
trains.
train
Oh, dear.
while it was moving.
Really?
And so this person, a man, who lost his cell phone between the cars, pulled the emergency handle, pulled the air brake line, stopped the train. It was an emergency for him, right?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Wow. Did he get his phone back?
We don't know if he got his phone back. I assume police confiscated it when they charged him with trespassing
No.
and illegal interference with public transportation.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't try that at home.
Yeah, don't try that at home. Jim, something I want to tell everyone
Yeah.
out there. You know, because we have newswire@trainsmag.com, and there's a lot of interest in Santa trains this year. We're getting people sending photos, and what I would like to do is to build a couple of photo galleries, one next week and one the week of Christmas, just on how many different Santa trains and holiday trains there are out there. So make sure you send photos into that. We'll be sure to highlight some of them next week and the week after, in between the holidays, which will be kind of cool.
Good idea.
Yeah, Jim, there was an interesting announcement that we put out on Newswire yesterday about a new DVD coming out.
Yep.
Could you tell a little bit more about that?
Yep, we're producing Selling Sunshine.
Yeah.
It's hard to get out this time of the morning. But Rich Luckin, who did our 20th Century Limited DVD and video, is back, and he's going to team up with Michael Gross and Peter A. Hansen, the head editor of the RNLHS's magazine Railroad History, to produce a documentary film for us about Florida trains, Chicago, Florida, Northeast Florida. And so you'll get all those nice stories about the competition between the ACL and the ACL and the SAL and then the FEC and Central Georgia and IC and all these guys. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And that'll be coming out next summer. And going to be a really nice piece. If you saw 20th Century Limited, really nice documentary, and we're expecting another terrific show from Rich.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And I've already seen a couple of the images that Rich has sent along with that. I mean, really, the competition, the style, the glamour, the luxury of it all. And by the way, just getting out of the cold Northeast, we're going to have a big blast here this weekend in the Midwest. You know, I can just imagine.
We'll be wanting to go to Florida.
I know. Can you imagine hopping on a train in your big metropolitan station, just saying, "So long, guys. I'll see you next week. I'm going to Florida."
You go to bed. You go to bed, and it's freezing cold. And you wake up the next morning. You got orange trees out the window, and smell that salt air from the ocean.
I love that. That's pretty cool.
Love it.
Interesting. National Transportation Safety Board this week came out with a release of findings. Or they had a hearing on a 2014 Union Pacific derailment in Arkansas, and they came out and said that that they didn't say that the crew was sleeping at the time of the wreck, but they said that 2 crew members had sleep problems, and they unfortunately were the ones who died in that crash in Hoxie, Arkansas. You know, and this is just the latest in a string of collisions that seem to be related to sleep problems or sleep apnea or bad sleep patterns. To me, Jim, it seems like the industry's in kind of a crisis right now.
Yeah, it's been an issue for almost 200 years.
Yeah.
Because it is a 24/7 industry, and you know, it is difficult to do that. I know the times I've been out with train crews late at night or early in the morning. It's tough. It's tough to stay alert.
Yeah.
It's tough to stay awake.
Definitely is. Definitely is.
Be safe out there, guys.
So, you know, I've been hogging all the time here. What's piqued your interest so far?
You know, the things that got me this week, there's the labor unions have been negotiating with the railroads for a couple of years. They're not getting close to a contract. Now they think the elections sort of tipped the scales, and they're asking for mediation. So I'm watching that one. Obviously, we don't want a railroad shutdown anytime soon. But,
no, that'd be bad.
It's bad. And then, of course, I'm always a sucker for the traffic figures. You know, I was happy to see that November was a better month than last year.
That's right.
November 2016 was a traffic increase of 29,000, almost 30,000 carloads. And but still, traffic this year is off 6%. And you know, with three weeks to go, it's just not going to rebound from last year.
Yeah, you can't pick up that
Can't
much.
pick up. Can't make up that much. But no, other than that,
No,
that's about
good.
it.
Well, then I think it's time for trivia. Last week we asked you specifically about St. Paul Union Depot, St. Paul, Minnesota, which has a really nice train station that's been updated.
And it's got great initials.
Yeah, Spud.
Spud. I like that.
As we go up to the train station, we did this last year. This Spud's for you.
Yes.
No, okay.
Or Spudnik.
Spud.
Yes.
Yeah, that too. So last week we asked you, why did St. Paul Union Depot, or Spud, extend the tail track, or what they call the tail track, about 250 feet? And the correct answer, and several of you got this in one form or another, but we're looking for 3 major things. Flood control, which it will do. I believe the Mississippi River goes right by there.
It does.
It's going to accommodate special trains better, so they can get them off the main and just park them back away from the station. And 3, it's going to have more room for a longer ride for Polar Express trains that are operating out of the depot. So those 3 things in some form, and if you got that, you had a chance at getting selected today. And today, that winner is, yep, here we go. And
I can't read it.
I can't read it either. And it's my handwriting. I believe it's James Miller, and I'll be sure to get this to you. James, if you could send me your name and your address to newswire@trainsmag.com, newswire@trainsmag.com. We'll be sure to get out to you a copy of Locomotive 2016.
Right here. And one of my favorite stories is about the conversion on Norfolk Southern of their DC General Electric units to AC. And they get this really cool paint
beautiful.
scheme. It's a gorgeous paint scheme.
That's beautiful.
So be sure and take a look.
Outstanding. And then this week's trivia question is, name that locomotive. Nevada Northern Railway in Ely, Nevada has a really interesting program with a local bank. They're having some kind of fundraiser, a $30,000 fundraising challenge, and in part that money will go to a locomotive. Name that locomotive. But specifically, I want the model number. I want the plate number.
Ooh, I know.
I want.
I can't answer, can I?
No, you can't.
Okay.
I want the locomotive builder,
Dadgummit.
and I want the year. So the builder, the year, the model number, and the plate number. You think folks can do that?
They probably can.
They probably can. And put your response below this video in the comment section below. And if you answer those 4 items correctly, you will have a chance at winning the winning Locomotive 2016, which
Right
we
here.
will send promptly to you next week.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All righty.
So,
Thank you for watching the anniversary show. We appreciate it.
yeah, absolutely. Take care.
We couldn't afford Kimmel's band. We couldn't afford Colbert's band. So we're just
Salvation Army bell ringers.
Salvation Army bell ringers were not available.
But the Shriners said they would come for food.
But the polka band, yes,
Yes. Or the polka band.
yes.